to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello and welcome to episode 50, 50 episodes. Almost 1 full year of doing this. I will be talking about the future of the podcast in a future episode, maybe next week or the week after. It's nothing big, it's just some ideas or changes I would like to make, but we'll talk about that then. Today is not the day because we have a lot of gaming stuff to cover. The first thing I want to talk about briefly is Rockstar's changes to the collector role in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I made all those guide videos, there's like 14 or 15 videos on it, and they seem to have changed some of the spawn locations. And now I'm not entirely sure what to do. Those videos are not irrelevant, like they still can be used, but I mean, I saw something that was like on cycle 6. I'm like, well, what happened to 4 and 5? Because when I made those videos, there was only 3 cycles or 3 days. I'll just refer to them as cycles for now. And I really don't feel like making a bunch of those videos again, so I need to wait a little bit so we can see just how many cycles there are and what the pattern is. And if there is a 4th cycle, then I'm just going to make a video with everything in it. Just one video. It's going to be over an hour long, which is going to be insane. To record all that, edit all of it, make sure everything's organized and, accurate. It's a nightmare. So if I do make an update to that, it's going to be a little while. And not just the addition of more cycles, but they changed the way the cycles work. So previously, everything would be on cycle 1. And then when I updated, everything would be on cycle 2. Well, now, the coins could be on cycle 3, and the alcohol bottles could be on cycle 1. Arrowheads could be on cycle 2, and then the next day when everything updates, it flip-flops, and it's just, they're making it harder for people to make money. They're trying to make it an inconvenience because they want you to play the game longer and just put more time into it, which I don't think Rockstar understands. Like, the more money I have in your games, the more likely I am to play it. The less money I have in your games, the least likely I am to play it. The more money I have, the more things I can do, the more things I can enjoy. I do not want to grind out your game to get money to do little things, because every other game I play has some sort of battle pass or season pass or whatever that I gotta grind out, and then I gotta go play your game and get a bunch of money. Everything I do involves a grind of some sort. I don't want to do it. It's not fun, and it takes the fun away from games. Were people making a ton of money doing the collector role and doing their little paths and stuff? Yeah. And you know what? Those people are still playing the game because they have a ton of money. It's okay, Rockstar. I'm so sick of these battle passes and season passes because there's just so much to do in these games. The Halo one I'm not worried about because they said it'll carry on into the future, so there's no rush with that one. And the Outlaw Pass in Red Dead Online is good. I actually like it because you can breeze through it relatively quickly. I mean, the first one I finished in 2 weeks. Actually, I think it was less than 2 weeks. And the second one is 100 tiers. The first one was 70. This new one's 100. And in just a few days, I'm already at level 24. So a few days in and I'm already a quarter of the way done. And we have until March to finish it, which I will easily do. I like Rockstar's version of a pass because it's really easy. But they make everything else harder. So I might make an update to those collector videos. I might not. I don't know. Again, I need a few days to figure everything out. But yeah, that's just another thing I gotta possibly do. It seems like every time I finally get close to having free time, something else has to happen. I'm either recording videos, editing videos, playing games to level up my battle pass or season pass. And I was finally at a point now where everything was calming down. I could enjoy some free time. And then Rockstar's gotta go and do this. And then I gotta spend a bunch of hours trying to figure this thing out. Oh, and real quick before I get into state of play. So while I was playing Red Dead Online, I was just standing there. I was doing something else. And a guy walked up to my horse. And my horse ended up kicking him to the ground. My horse ran away. The guy ran after my horse, and when he got up to my horse, it kicked him again. And then his horse was right there too, and when he got up, he looked at his horse, and his horse kicked him. And he ended up dying. He then spawned back in, and I'm still just standing there. He takes out his gun and he kills me, which says a lot about him. I had nothing to do with this, but he takes his anger out on me. So then I respawn, and I'm walking towards my horse, and he's riding past me, and you have emotes in the game, so I gave him a thumbs up. He didn't like that. He immediately turned back around, and I took out my revolver and just headshotted him. and that was the end of that. But it was really funny, and I did not record it, so that sucks. Hey, but it's whatever. Let's just move on. Let's move on. It's not about this. It's not about that. What it's about today is what happened last week, because we're a week late on State of Play. And since we're a week late on State of Play, I've kind of forgotten what was shown. So obviously Resident Evil 3 Remake, that was rumored. It was leaked beforehand. It did show up. They tried to play it off like it was Project Resistance, and then the trailer quickly switched into Resident Evil 3, which was cool. It looks good. I mean, it's basically Resident Evil 2, just Resident Evil 3 now. It looks the same. And they said Project Resistance would be incorporated into Resident Evil 3, and they're just calling it Resident Evil Resistance, so that's just the multiplayer portion of it, which I have played Project Resistance, or Resident Evil Resistance now, and it wasn't good. I did not really enjoy it that much, at least as a survivor. Survivor is really hard. If you play as the mastermind, that's different. It's much easier. I don't know how much they're going to change with the full release, hopefully a lot. But my time with it was meh. They then showed a brief teaser of Ghost of Tsushima, and then it said to be continued at the Game Awards. And of course, the big game I was waiting for was Resistance. I really felt like a remaster was coming, and it did not. I kept talking about Insomniac's Resistance tweets leading up to it, and you can look at the replies to all those tweets. I wasn't the only one that thought something was going to happen. They definitely led people on. I follow a dude that knows inside knowledge with the industry. He's leaked Call of Duty multiple times over the years, and he even responded to them and was like, what are you guys doing? What are you up to? Insomniac have not tweeted about Resistance since the day before State of Play until Monday, and it says holiday air travel is the worst, and then it shows airplanes and the Chimera, and who knows. And of course the replies to it are people asking if a remaster is happening. So I don't know if the social media person knows or not that they're leading people on, and if they are aware of that, then unless something really is in the works, then they need to stop. Because between this and Bluepoint's cryptic tweet that mentioned Resistance and all those other games, a lot of us got our hopes up, and it sucks. Of course, I had a little bit of hope left that at the Game Awards, just maybe something would happen, but of course nothing did. So the next thing that could happen is at the PS5 reveal, maybe something will show. And if it doesn't, I don't know. I'll be a sad person. And something else about Insomniac's most recent Resistance tweet is that they put hashtags in it, and they put dots between their caption, holiday air travel is the worst, and the hashtags. They put the dots bulletin style, and there are 4 of them. I know I'm looking into this way too much. I am very, very aware of this, but I just can't help it. If a new Resistance game does get announced or remasters get announced, I'm going to act so cool and calm about it. I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to breeze over it. I'm going to give people the opposite reaction that they're expecting. But yeah, like I said, I can't really remember much of anything else from the State of Play because I was just so focused on Resistance and whatever. Anyway, let's just move on to the Game Awards. So I will go over the winners soon, but the first thing I want to bring up is they revealed the brand new Xbox there, which was a surprise to a lot of people. They started showing this Microsoft Xbox trailer, and I thought, okay, that's just what it is. Showing Forza and Halo, and I thought it was just a reminder that hey, Xbox Scarlet is coming, don't forget, which we wouldn't. But then you see the design, this box, and it reveals itself, but that was the new Xbox. I thought it was a new version of the Xbox One, and then it pops up Holiday 2020. I was like, oh, that is the new Xbox. So they're calling it the Xbox Series X. So let's talk about the design of it real quick. It is actually really just a box. I thought it was a brick. Other people are calling it a fridge. Which is funny. I don't know why people are getting mad at that. It's just a stupid little thing. You don't need to get mad over that. I think it's really bland though. It's just 4 black sides. You couldn't put a design on it or anything. Maybe they're leaving that up to you. Get yourself a silver Sharpie or maybe some paint and then just go to town on it. I think it's really bland looking. I thought they could have did more with it. But hey, they designed these things in certain ways on purpose. They gotta fit all the hardware and components and all that inside of it, and then make sure the airflow is all good. So there's a reason behind the design. It's just, I don't know. I thought it could have been more, but who knows? The PS5 could look similar. And then you have the name Xbox Series X, which I don't like. Apparently, they might go down like the phone route. So this one's the Xbox Series X, and then in a couple of years, they release a new version, and it's Xbox Series X2. If they do a more slim version or a digital-only version, maybe it's Xbox Series S, something like that. If they go down that route, then okay, I understand it. If they don't, then I don't like it. Here are some things that Microsoft have said about the new Xbox. Xbox Series X will be our fastest, most powerful console ever. It is going to be quieter than the Xbox One X. It is going to deliver 4 times the processing power of Xbox One X. And you can set it up either vertically or horizontally. From a technical standpoint, this will manifest as world-class visuals in 4K at 60 FPS with possibility of up to 120 FPS, including support for variable refresh rate and 8K compatibility. Powered by our custom-designed processor leveraging the latest Zen 2 and next-generation RDNA architecture from our partners at AMD, Xbox Series X will deliver hardware-accelerated ray tracing and a new level of performance never before seen in a console. Additionally, our patented variable rate shading technology will allow developers to get even more out of the Xbox Series X GPU, and our next-generation SSD will virtually eliminate load times and bring players into their gaming worlds faster than ever before. We are minimizing latency by leveraging technology such as auto low latency mode and giving developers new functionality like dynamic latency input to make Xbox Series X the most responsive console ever. Xbox Series X is also designed for a future in the cloud with unique capabilities built into the hardware and software to make it as easy as possible to bring great games to both console and elsewhere. Xbox Series X will deliver a level of fidelity and immersion unlike anything that's been achieved in previous console generations. One of the things we're most proud of with Xbox Series X is the promise we're delivering to our fans who have and continue to invest with Xbox. Thanks to backward compatibility, you can expect your gaming legacy, thousands of your favorite games across 4 generations of gaming, all your Xbox One gaming accessories, and industry-leading services like Xbox Game Pass to be available when you power on your Xbox Series X in holiday 2020. Building on our compatibility promise, with Xbox Series X, we're also investing in consumer-friendly pathways to game ownership across generations. Leading the way with our first-party titles, including Halo Infinite in 2020, we're committed to ensuring that games from Xbox Game Studios support cross-generation entitlements and that your achievements and game saves are shared across devices. As we branch out and extend gaming to more players around the world, console gaming will remain at the heart of our Xbox offering. Game creators around the globe are already hard at work building content for Xbox Series X, and our 15 Xbox game studios are developing the largest and most creatively diverse lineup of Xbox exclusive games in our history. On behalf of Team Xbox, we're excited to enter the future of console gaming with you and can't wait to share more in 2020. So if you didn't know I was talking about Xbox, I was definitely talking about Xbox. There's a lot of Xbox to talk about because Xbox is in the news right now. If you didn't know Xbox, it's Xbox. I'd also like to point out that they use the word globe, so they do not believe in flat earth. So that's good. Thumbs up to Microsoft. So the big thing there is full backwards compatibility. You can play your Xbox Series X5 games, Xbox Series X4 games, Xbox Series X3 games, Xbox Series X2 games, Xbox Series X games, Xbox Series S3 games, Xbox Series S2 games, Xbox Series S games, Xbox One X games, Xbox One S games, Xbox One games, Xbox 360 games, and your other Xbox One games. So that's pretty cool. And after this announcement at the Game Awards, they showed a trailer or like a teaser of the new Senua game from Ninja Theory. And I mean, again, it's a teaser. There's no gameplay, but it looked pretty cool. Like the facial animations were really good. It was actually kind of creepy. With the reveal of the new Xbox meant that we had to get something new with the PS5 as well, which we did. They showed a teaser again of the game known as Godfall. There actually is gameplay out there, but it's very short. I saw it was like 5 or 6 seconds. I mean, it was barely anything. So Godfall is an action role-playing game developed by Counterplay Games, and it is being published by Gearbox. and it is a launch title for the PlayStation 5. So the day the PS5 comes out, this game is also coming out. This game will also be released on PC as well. And they're calling it a looter slasher. So not a looter shooter, but a looter slasher. So that was the big stuff from Microsoft and Sony during the Game Awards. And then after that, Jeff was like, hey, we talked about Xbox and PlayStation. We got to talk about Nintendo too. We can't leave them out. So then Nintendo announces a game called Bravely Default 2, which is apparently the third game in the series. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard it's the third game, but they call it the second game. It killed the mood. Like, Nintendo, just stop. We're ready to move into next gen and you guys are still slacking. Alright, you're getting left behind. None of the games on Xbox Series X or PS5 are even going to be able to be playable on the Switch. So just go do your own show. Alright, let's get into the winners of these awards. So the best VR AR game went to Beat Saber. Best strategy game, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Best sports/racing game, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Best score and music, Death Stranding. Best role-playing game, Disco Elysium. Best performance, Mads Mikkelsen, Death Stranding. Best ongoing game, Fortnite. Best narrative, Disco Elysium. Best multiplayer game, Apex Legends. Thank God Call of Duty didn't win, because it did not deserve it. Best mobile game, Call of Duty Mobile. Best indie game, Disco Elysium. Games for Impact, Grease. I thought that was a really weird moment during the show because it's Games for Impact and it says for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. So these are games that, like, you know, make you think, kind of hit you in the feels type of thing. And then they had the stupid Muppets out there before with the goose from the Goose Game. They announced the winner and the goose is honking. And then, you know, the guys come up, they say their thing and they're walking off and the goose is still honking. It's like, it's kind of an important award. And then they're just being really goofy. I don't know. I just thought it was really strange to have it at that moment. If you're going to have Muppets and a goose, you could have did that around one of the other awards. And plus, what's up with that one Muppet? He has glasses, but he doesn't even have eyes. That doesn't make any sense. And then they had these other moments during the awards where, like, people are trying to give a positive message out there. And during one of them, right after it was done, it just switched immediately to a Mortal Kombat ad. Like, I don't think they really thought some of this through. It's like, oh, just throw this here and do this there and blah, 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 whatever. Game direction, Death Stranding. Fresh indie game, Disco Elysium. Best fighting game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Best family game, Luigi's Mansion 3. Gonna skip all the esports and creator stuff because I don't care. Best community support, Destiny 2. Best audio design, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Best art direction, Control. Best action adventure game, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Best action game, Devil May Cry 5. So the difference between those two is action adventure is for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. And then best action game for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. So action/adventure, Sekiro, action, Devil May Cry 5. And then that leaves us with Game of the Year 2019. The nominees were Control, Death Stranding, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. And the winner is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. You know, for Game of the Year this year, it just, I don't know. It wasn't like last year. Last year was much more tense. Because it basically came down to God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. Luckily, Red Dead Redemption 2 won. Something in my throat. But yeah, like my heart was pumping last year. And this year is just, I don't know. It just didn't have the same impact, I guess. Hopefully next year is a little bit more competitive, I guess. Because, I mean, if you just look at the lineup of games coming out next year, it's just like, Jesus Christ. I've said it a bajillion times already, and I'm going to say it a bajillion times more. Next year is insane for video games and music. We are kicking off the new decade right. Also, shout out to Magic the Gathering for basically sponsoring the Game Awards, because there was a bajillion Magic the Gathering ads. If you didn't like Magic beforehand, you probably still don't like it because the ads probably annoyed you. Advertising's fine. Over advertising, it's not fine. You're not going to win me over doing that. The performances were okay. I mean, Churches did well. Green Day was fine. Their new song sucks, but yeah, it was fine. Grimes lip-synced the whole thing, so that sucked. I don't like lip-syncing at all. If you're going to be a performer, then perform. But yeah, that was all the standout stuff. I mean, there was other announcements throughout the night, but I can't even remember them. Anyway, it's that time of the month. It's time for the top 20 best-selling games of the previous month. This time for November 2019. Will Black Friday affect the results? Spoiler alert. No, not really. Number 20, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 19, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 18, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Number 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 16, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 15, Mario Kart 8. Number 14, Just Dance 2020. 13, The Outer Worlds. 12, Borderlands 3. 11, FIFA 20. Number 10, Luigi's Mansion 3. Number 9, Need for Speed Heat. 8, NBA 2K20. 7, Death Stranding. Debuted at number 7, which is still good. I thought it'd be a little higher. I thought it'd crack the top 5, but top 10, is what it is. Number 6, Madden NFL 20. Number 5, Pokemon Shield. Number 4, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield Double Pack. Number 3, Pokemon Sword. Number 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And number 1, you already know, back-to-back 2-time champ, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So that is that. Next month, we will obviously get the top 20 for December, but we should also get a list for the best-selling games for the entire year. So that'll be interesting. Probably already know what number 1 is. Well, that's all I have for gaming this week. So moving on to music. So last Tuesday, the gaming gods obviously did not listen to me as a Resistance remastered game was not revealed. But the music gods listened to me because that night, Ocean Grove released a brand new song, and I talked about them quite a bit in the last podcast. I had no idea they were releasing a new song, so that came as a surprise to me. It's called Sunny, and of course they debuted it on Australian radio again, which I tuned into. Australian radio is very calm, or I guess chill. The kids like to say chill. It's very chill. None of the artists they play I know. I've never heard of any of these songs. Well, they play Post. I heard Post Malone. I know who he is. But like everyone else, no idea who they were. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. And I don't know if it's an Australian thing or just the woman that was on that night, but she never said the month in full. Like if she was talking about January, she would just say Jan. February would just be Feb. So yeah, I don't know if it's an Australian thing or just her, but I thought it was a little weird. I'm also bleeding right now, but that's not important. So, song's really good. It's a little bit different than the other songs that we've heard so far from the new album, which still hasn't been officially announced. They've released 3 singles and no official announcement or release date, which is a little weird, because usually bands announce all that stuff with the first single or second, and we're already on our third and nothing. Oh yeah, that's Blood. So, the 4th single, I don't know when it's coming. I saw someone from their label make a post somewhere, and he said that the new album's really good, which obviously he would say that. He's not going to trash one of his own bands. He said the album comes out in a couple of months, and there will be another song before then. So I'm guessing February it comes out, and then with the next single, we'll get the actual announcement. I don't know. It can't get here soon enough. That's all I know. So I'll put a link to Sunny by Ocean Grove in the description. I'd also like to mention quickly about a month or so ago when I was talking about that one person that said My Chemical Romance was Artist of the Decade. And I was like, how can they be Artist of the Decade when they've been gone for like 7 years? And then I suggested that Ghost should be Artist of the Decade because I think they're very deserving of that title. And then Loudwire, loudwire.com, YouTube channel Loudwire, they said that their Artist of the Decade is Ghost. So at least we're on the same page there. Great minds think alike, that's all I know. Alright, moving on to my weekly pick this week, and it's something I haven't even seen yet because it's not out yet at the time of this recording. So the band Parkway Drive headlined Bloodstock Festival this year, and that is in England, I believe. Anyway, the whole performance is being uploaded on the Bloodstock Festival YouTube channel, and it comes out on Tuesday. which is why I haven't seen it yet. I know it's still going to be good though, because Parkway Drive is a very good live band, so I have no worries about that. A link will be in the description to it if it is live when the podcast goes live. If it's not, then later on Tuesday I will add the link, but it should be up by the time the podcast goes up, so there should be a link in the description. Anyway, Parkway Drive, Bloodstock Fest 2019, headline, full performance, should be good. Australia's own. I listen to a lot of Australian bands, if you haven't made that connection yet. They put out good product over there. I don't know what's in the water in Australia. Probably spiders, because there's spiders everywhere over there. I saw a 30-foot long spider, but whatever they're doing, it's good stuff. If you ever need me to make a playlist of just Australian bands, let me know, because I got you covered. Maybe one of these weeks I will recommend that Australian radio station, if anyone wants to listen to it. You can listen to it wherever you're at. You obviously don't have to be in Australia. You can listen to a lot of radio stations wherever you're at. You just go to their website, and there's usually like a listen live button or a listen now button somewhere, and you just click on that and you can listen to it. Maybe I'll recommend my own radio station that I grew up listening to that I still listen to. Anyway, moving on to my weird story of the week. It has nothing to do with Florida, but does have to do with Maine. So everyone thinks you're safe up there in Maine? No. Officers in Van Buren, Maine were called to reports of a man being shot in the early evening of Thursday. The victim had called 911 and reported he had been hit by a weapon. A dispatched police patrol and accompanying paramedics found the man injured in his home. After carrying out an investigation, they found that the front door of the house had been fitted with a device that shot a handgun at anyone attempting to open the door. Other devices were also discovered, prompting the officers to call the bomb squad. The Maine State Police and Van Buren Police Department investigators concluded he had been shot as a result of one of his own homemade devices unintentionally discharging. The victim was identified as 65-year-old Ronald Sear. He was taken to the hospital, but later died. Setting up homemade security devices using weapons in a home is illegal in the United States, but several people have been injured or killed doing so in the last few years. That was a real boomer move there, Ronald. Would he be a boomer? 65? I'm not good at math. I'm not going to do the math. But yeah, he set up a trap and basically killed himself with it. Nice. So that's going to be it for this episode 50, like I said. End of the year, right around the corner, entering 2020. New decade, new everything. So thank you for listening. You can also listen on iTunes, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. Oh, I also got my Spotify stats because they do the Wrapped thing for like your most played artists and songs, but they also send you one if you have a podcast, which I did not know. So I got the email and I looked at it, and it said most of the listens come from the UK, and the United States is second. I guess people in the UK just love me more. Step your game up, US. And on Spotify, the most listened to episode is number 1. Second is episode 36, and third is episode 37. So, I don't know what happened with 36 and 37, but there's a little boost right there, I guess. Also had some listeners in Brazil. Come to Brazil. We came, dude. I came to Brazil through the internet, dude. But this also says that there was only 43 episodes, which there's obviously more than that, so that just shows where they cut it off. So whenever episode 43 came out, that was the cutoff, and they calculated these stats. But yeah, like I said earlier, there will be some changes coming to the podcast next year. Small changes mostly on the YouTube side of things, and then possibly one big thing, but I'm still figuring that out. You'll know about it when it happens. It's all being planned. But we must use our creative juices. I'll talk about it either next week or the week after. Anyway, I'm done. This episode's over. Talk to you next week. Later.